Hello, my name is Eduardo Buson. I am the instructor for this class, which is a course of study 124, Transformative Leadership. And I'm super excited to be here. I am so sorry that we cannot do this in person for this first session. As I sent you on an email, I have a wedding that I'm doing right now. And it's a family wedding. And I just, well, I'm doing it. So after talking with Melissa and Lucas, the leadership at St. Paul's course of study program, they said that it was okay. And this first session, I could do it this way. And again, it's not my preferred way of doing the first session, but thank you so much. I'm not planning for this video to go for the length of the 2 hours that we're supposed to be together. So yay, that's a good thing. But the second hour or the remaining time that you will have, I would like for you to look at some of the things, resources, readings, other videos that I have put on Moodle. So that's what the plan that it is for today. Just to introduce myself, again, I'm Eduardo Buson. I'm an elder in Full Connection at the Great Plains Annual Conference. I have been in ministry for over 25 years. That is so hard to grasp, but I'm super excited to be doing this class for two reasons. One is I've been learning a lot about leadership in my current appointment. I am not in the local church for the last, well, now it's 17 years. I've been outside of the local church. 15 of those I was doing campus ministry, one at a public or state school, and then 10 years at church-related university, Nebraska Wesleyan University in Lincoln, Nebraska. The last 2 years, though, my appointment is at the General Board of Higher Education and Ministry, and there I resource chaplains, campus ministers, who are all in higher education, boards of higher education, to be able to reach out this new generation. So anyway, that's part of why I'm excited to do this. The other is that the last 4 years I've been working on a EDD or educational doctorate in leadership, and I'm all but dissertation at this point, and I'm just passionate about it. I'm passionate about this topic, and I'm passionate and excited that you are here. So thank you so much. As I wrote in the email, this is the biggest class that I ever had in course of study, and there are 21 of us, or 23, I think, and that's going to present its own blessings and challenges. But talk a little bit more about that here in a second. So what I would like for us to do now is to go through my expectations of the course and sharing those with you. And I think that having clear expectations, it's a foundation of leadership. So what I want to do now is to go ahead and share my screen with you. Go to the Moodle page of St. Paul's School of Theology and the Moodle page for this course. So I already went into Moodle and sign up or sign on it and click on this class, and it starts here. I just changed my picture. In this picture, I was visiting with a chaplain and a director of a school, the principal of a school, United Methodist School, a prep school, that is. and it was very hot, and I was very hot and sweaty, but super happy to be there with them. But anyway, as the module goes, it speaks about the required text and recommended texts, and I'm going to talk about that when we jump into the syllabus. There is a syllabus. Um, Important dates for you, and then this is the introduction orientation um, page for the class. And we're just going to be focusing on this today, all right? If we get to July 24th, we've gone too far. All right, so if we click on the syllabus, it's going to want to download it. So I let it download. Go into my downloads. I've done it already. And then I open it. And so now I want to share this screen with you, of the syllabus. Okay. So St. Paul School of Theology course of study 124, Transformative Leadership, summer of 25. That's my name. That's my email address. If you need to contact me, I also emailed you out of my Great Plains UMC .org email address. You can use either St. Paul or the Great Plains one. And my phone number, in case you need to call me or text me for any reason, of course, related to class. The description of the course, I think it's important because it's not just the leadership course, right? But it is about your identity as a pastor, and as a pastor, as a leader, right? Your identity as a pastoral leader, and a change agent in your congregation. And that's important to know because we're going to be looking at leadership within that church context, and how to be a change agent within that church context. I'm sorry. And in this class, you will identify and understand the attributes of good leaders, biblically and theologically. Particularly, we're focusing on transformational leadership as that is our focus on leadership. There are many different types of leadership, but we're going to be focusing on transformational leadership and how we can be transformational leaders in our congregations, in our ministry settings. We're also going to be doing a lot of introspection or reflection, self-reflection. And we're going to talk a little bit about that later today. But we're going to be doing some self-reflection as to how is our leadership style and how does it connect with the people of our churches or ministry settings. Explain and reflect on the nature of change in local congregation and in our communities, and then be able to identify and implement vision strategizing planning processes in our congregations in order to make change happen. The required texts, there are two required texts, and these two texts come to us from the General Board of Higher Education and Ministry, my employer, but I had nothing to do with choosing these texts. All right, it is a text that we have been teaching for a while, and they're oldies but goodies, right? So the first one is the Strategically Small Church by Brian O'Brien. And again, Brian O'Brien, he's a Baptist pastor, and in this book it's 15 years old, the Strategically Small Church. But let me tell you, it is so good, and it is so relevant to the things that we are experiencing today in our small churches, and in the culture of the church at large. There's been ever since I have memory, and it's still true today, that kind of like a concept of the local church, of the small local church, as not a successful church. And um, and that's what is out there. It's out in the ether, in the church ether, because somehow, and this is one of my many soapboxes, um, but there's this belief that small, if it's small, it's not good, right? And if it's large, it's successful. And O'Brien, he talks about, no, small churches. We have to be strategic about our small churches, because they are truly the transformation or the agent of transformation in our communities. So that's one. The second one is by Ruth Bailey Barton, Strengthening the Soul of Your Leadership. And this is a study, or a reflection, I should say, on the life of Moses as a leader. And while O'Brien's book is a lot about strategies and very practical things, this book is more for you. It's a spiritual examination of our leadership, and it's such a fantastic book. It's also available on audio, so you can get it through those means. I recommend the text, Peter Norhaus, Leadership Theory and Practice, 7th or 8th edition. Actually, it's now on its 9th edition. You don't have to have the newest. Actually, you don't have to have this book, period. We will be reading one chapter of the book, and that is uploaded on Moodle, so you don't have to purchase this book. But if you're interested in leadership and leadership theory, and if you're interested in knowing other ways of leading, this is a really good book for you to have. I will show it to you, but I have it on a digital form, so I cannot show it to you. But I have it on my Kindle, and it's as an introduction of leadership. It's a really good book to have. The other book that I think I will encourage you to get at some point in your life, that is not listed here, is Leadership in the Wesleyan Tradition by Lovett Weems. And actually, we will be talking about this book later on in the class, as we integrate what we have learned from Norhaus into in our discussions, and how that looks like in the Western tradition. So we're going to look about as to how Wesley's leadership was transformational or transformative. So those are the books that are there before us. The two that you absolutely have to read and buy are the ones who are required. Just these two. The other ones are recommended. And again, there's a reading from Norhaus that is required, but it has already been uploaded in Moodle, so you don't have to worry about finding it or purchasing it. Assignments. There are 3 assignments, and the deadlines that I'm giving you are different than the deadlines that Course of Study gave me, or perhaps different than other classes. And there's a reason for it, and I want to get into it here in a second. The first one is reflection on texts, and it is to write a 3 to 5 page paper over our discussion. So you have to take notes for these things. And the readings. And the reading that I mean is the one from Norhaus. This paper will clearly integrate content from class discussion, the Norhaus chapter, and your personal experience. Now, don't freak out. Don't start saying, "Oh my gosh, how am I going to do this?" We haven't even started in the content, but as we begin our discussions um, and as you reflect on your personal context and on your church context, in the North House reading about transformational leadership, putting all those things together, that's what makes the first paper, which is again 3 to 5 pages, and that includes only the text. Cover page and sources are not, I repeat, are not counted in the 3 to 5 pages. So 3 to 5 pages is just content. That is due on August 8th, which is a Friday. Why is it a Friday? Because I want you to have the benefit of the August 7th discussion as well. So that's why I want you to do that. And then I will comment on it, give you some ideas, grade it. You should have it all graded by Monday or Tuesday. We'll talk about this in a second. And then you will be ready for the next paper, which is the next Thursday. And this is the interactive 10-page paper, which is due on Thursday, August 14th. By 11:59 p.m. Okay. And there's a whole of explanation here of what it means. What is this 10-page paper about? I say 10-page paper. That's what it has been in years past. But now it's less than 10 pages. But these are the different things that I'm looking in the paper. And then there are some questions that might help you guide your writing, included in there. And then the following week is a final paper on practical ministry. And this paper is what you have learned in class on a practical ministry application. This could be it could be a sermon, it could be a Bible study, it could be a process, a leadership process that you want to have in your congregation. Like, for example, when I was a local church pastor, one of the processes that I included in my monthly meetings with the administrative council was book. So we will spend the first 30 minutes in book club, or the first 30 minutes of the meeting. Now, the meeting was a little bit longer than I wanted it to be, but in order for us to develop our leadership and for the administrative council to be on the same page, we had a book club at the beginning. So that was a plan that I did. So if I was going to write this paper, I will talk about something like that. So a plan to either a plan to develop the leadership or to enhance leadership in your congregation, a sermon on leadership, a Bible study, something very practical is what I'm looking for, 3 to 5 pages. For all of these papers, there is a very clear rubric, or each paper, I should say, have its own rubric. And on the assignment page, which we're going to look at in Moodle here in a second, you will see that there is a rubric. And of course, the rubric means what I'm looking at the paper and how I'm grading the paper according to the things that you include or choose not to include, but the things that I'm expecting of you. So grading is important. It demonstrates your work and commitment, and I'm invested in your success. I want you to succeed. I want you to have a good grade in this class. Of course, you need to want to do that too, right? But I want you to do this, and I want you to succeed. And this is why I'm committed to give you feedback within 48 hours of your submitting your assignment. Because there are a few more than usually I have. It might take me a little bit more than 48 hours to get those done, but I really want to give you feedback within 2 days of you submitting, or at least from the deadline of the homework, of the assignment, okay? I'm also committing to provide clear expectations for the assignment. That's where the rubric comes in place. And if you have any question, I will respond to you within 24 hours of your question being submitted, all right? I like to explain everything very well on paper. But if it's not clear, please reach out, and I will help you out. Here we use Chicago style writing, Turabian, to write your papers. If you do not use Turabian style or Chicago style, your grade will be affected. I've had pushback throughout the years. Why? The content is really the most important thing. And it is not. I mean, it is very important, but it is just as important as the way in which we go about delivering content. You know this in your local church. You may think that your sermon, the content in your sermon, is A+. But if you just grab the manuscript and put it in front of your face and read it in a monotone voice, folks are not gonna get it. The same way, the way in which we deliver the content is just as important as the content. And as leaders, and as people who are in the process of not accreditation, that we're in the process of being approved as clergy in the United Methodist Church, as you are in the process of being approved. You know that the way of doing things is very important, just like the content is very important. And as leaders, we also have to be good followers. In order to be good leaders, we have to be good followers. In order to be good teachers, we have to be good students. So this is why I make a fuss about this. So in the past, people have been pushing me and actually in evaluations, I say, oh, we spend so much time talking about this. And listen, I get it. But at the same time, I truly hope that you get it. These are 7 reasons why writing, the way that you write things, is as important as the content. And I want to read them to you. United Methodist pastors are educated professionals regardless of educational level, age, or location. Using a writing style emphasizes professionalism. United Methodist pastors will be asked to communicate in writing on multiple occasions, and being a good writer is important for United Methodist pastors. Good writing is an indication of good reading. So good leaders are well-versed in a variety of subjects and are expected to read at least 1 book a month. Adopting writing styles, a writing style helps organize thoughts and opinions about what was read. Good leaders, as I said before, are also good followers. Good leaders need to know how to follow instructions. These classes are not workshops. These are academic classes. In academic writing is expected. Everyone using the same writing style levels the playing field. It also makes assignments easier to read and to grade. In a final exhortation by John Wesley, it cannot be that people should grow in grace unless they give themselves to reading. A reading people will always be a knowing people. So you following instructions related to the way that we write things says a lot about who you are as a leader. So please follow true writing style. And there is a handy dandy Scriber quick guide for how to use true writing style. You can click on it. It will take you to a place. Also on the first page, I included videos and other resources on how to do Turabian. This is a class structure, advanced assignments. They're due Thursday the 17th. Of course, we're not going to be there in person, but I expect for you to know and to be able to follow with instruction related to leadership. And by doing that, please read the North House chapter. Then on July 24th, from 6 to 8:30, we're going to have a lecture, both July 24th and July 31st. It will be live, and those will be recorded, and they will be put on Moodle, so you don't have to be present for these things. I will be there, and those of you who would like to be there and you think will benefit from class discussion, please come to those. And the Zoom link is on each section on Moodle. But on July 24th, if you, and I know I cannot require this of you, but if you could please make an effort to be present so I can meet you. That would be great. So please. And then we have an all-day class, August 7th, and I need to fix this because this is wrong. It's from 9 till noon and 1 to 3. We're not going to go all the way to 5 p.m. and we're not starting at 8 a.m. So it is from 9 to 3 p.m. with 1 hour lunch. You will receive Zoom invite from me. And when we are in class discussion, please have your camera on. These are the things that, or the different topics that we're going to be covering. You can look at those. The books are definitely due on our day-long class, August 7th, which is correctly stated here from 9 till noon, and then from 1 to 3. So these are course policies. I did not write this. This come to us from GBHM, my employer. So these are our accountabilities. We're accountable first to God, but we're also accountable to the church. We're accountable to, you're accountable to myself, I'm accountable to each other. And that is something for us to keep in mind. There's nothing that's going to be transactional in this class. Everything is relational, and that's what we talk about covenants. And part of a covenant is being present at our class sessions. A student is expected to attend every class session. A student missing 20% or more of the class, you will not receive credit for it. So 20%. So think about it. It's the first day is 2 hours. Then next two classes are 2.5 hours. So that's 5, 7. And then from 9 till noon, that's what, 3 more hours. So that's 10. And then from 1 to 3, it's 2 more hours. And I just lost count. So 20%, I think that's 12 hours. So 20% is how much? 3 hours? So if you miss more than 3 hours, you will not get credit from the class. Plagiarism. Oh my goodness. Plagiarism. Which is using material that is not yours and not attributing to the person that wrote, not giving proper acknowledgement that you are using it from someone else. And when we use context from someone else and we use it as if it's our own, so when we use content and don't attribute the content originating from somewhere else, that's stealing. And in academia, that is the biggest sin of them all. So please don't do that. If you're found to have plagiarized something, you will get 0 in the assignment, 0 in the course, and there will be disciplinary action taken against you. Same with sermons, right? We don't preach someone else's sermon and say that we came up with it. We don't ask AI to write a sermon for us and then we deliver it as if it was our own. We don't do that, right? So because we know that's wrong. That is deceiving others and deceiving ourselves. So please don't plagiarize. And know that we have tools to know if you have plagiarized or not. Okay. This is a new one. Constructive use of AI or Chat GPT by students. Ask you to review the course of study handbook for more details. Technology changes. Oh my gosh, please read that paragraph. I'm not going to read it all, but I'll pay attention to it. We know that AI can be very helpful as a tool. So if you use AI, use it as a tool. And if you ask AI to give you thoughts on John Wesley's leadership in Bristol, as seen through Bayes' transformational leadership theory, and AI puts something out there that sounds really smart, that is a tool. That is not your paper. That is a tool. So expect for you to make, to let the instructor know that that is not an original thought of yours, but it was taken from AI. It's part of plagiarism. If we ask AI, anyways, I'm going to continue. I'm going to go on. Yeah, I think you get the point. And here, to avoid plagiarism, which is taking someone else's ideas or words, phrases, sentences, and representing them as your own. In this course, be sure to use quotation marks to indicate when you are quoting an author, and use footnotes to cite places where anyone can find the quoted material or ideas. Um, and there is the link on how to, from Turabian, from the Chicago style of writing, how to um, make those citations. There are a couple of other policies that are very important to me: sexual harassment and racial harassment. These are super lengthy. They are in the course of study policies and guidelines that you have. They are also on the Moodle page. Um, the expected practice in our classroom will be to encourage, respect, and support each other and each other's work. This is not going to be a contentious or competitive place, but collaborative. And there's also learning accommodations. If you have um, some type of learning different ability, we are I am more than happy to give you reasonable accommodation for this. So just please, 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 please let me know. Okay, just let me know. All right, so these are syllabus. Yes, we spent a lot of time on it, but expectations are important. Expectations are super important. Anytime you can take a break, just hit pause, right? I'm going to continue, but if you need a break, hit pause, get something to drink, maybe some popcorn, come back. I don't know. The next thing that I wanted to do, just to continue um, with the Moodle. Is it this? It is this. Okay. So we go back. There is Sweaty Eduardo. So this reading here, if you click on it, it will be the reading that I expect for you to have finished by next Thursday, right? By July 17th. This video is a link to a guy from Azusa Pacific University who was teaching a similar course and went through Northhouse's chapters, all of them, and gave his own summary. And I found it helpful. Not a substitute for reading it, but it's helpful to watch either before or after the read. All right. And then this here is a video of it explains Chicago style writing, and there are all the tutorials on that page that you can follow as well. So part of my expectation of you for July 17th is on the second hour is to do all these things, to read Northhouse, to look at the video on transformational leadership, to look at the video in Chicago style. All right. So that's my expectation. The last thing that I include on this day is a writing template. What? A writing template, Eduardo? Yes. You'll be surprised how many people do not use this writing template, which blows my mind. So I'm opening it, and I want to share it with you, obviously. No. Oh, yeah. No. Oh, not that. I started sharing the wrong one. Let's do it again. Let's do this again. Here we go. There we go. So this is a paper that I wrote, um, and I reformatted it. Actually, let me say it again. This is a paper that I wrote, and I formatted it um, in Chicago style. So this is what each one of your free papers will have a cover page in which there will be uh, title, your name, and the date, right? But look at this. You can do this leadership as, and then type something. Leadership as play. I don't know. And then save as, right? Save this as. Um, nope. Here we go. And then you can save it as in whatever it is that you want to save it as in order to later upload it into Moodle. So that's why it's a template, because you can use it to and substitute some parts for your thing, for your content. Remember to change the date, please. Um, this is a text. You can read it if you want. But this is how it looks like. There's a section with a title. This is how titles go into Arabian, how the section goes. Um, each page, well, starting on second page, I want a page number at the top right of the page with your name. Probably just your last name is enough. And to do that, you just double click on it and check this out. I type this on here and oh, it changed it on all the pages. All right. This is why it's a template. Um, and then um, here are the footnotes. This is how the footnotes go. If you're using Microsoft Word, um, let's try to insert a footnote here. Insert. Um, oh, oh, it's not here. What? How do we do footnotes? I don't know. I don't remember. Okay. So let's do search. Footnote. Actions. Footnote. Oh, it immediately inserted a footnote. You can see. I'm pointing at the screen as you can see. Here is the number of the footnote, and there's a footnote. Okay. And then the bibliography. So each one of your free papers will have a cover page, and then we'll have a page of bibliography. And then there's a content in the middle. And when I say 3 to 5 pages, that is of content. If I say 7 to 10 pages, that's the content. That does not include the bibliography or the cover page. All right, let's stop that. And let's go back to the Moodle. Okay. I hope you're seeing all this. So that is for today. But I want to show you There is not a link yet here. Um, I will put it in after I record this. I upload it to YouTube and then I put a link so you can see the video. That's why there's nothing in there. But when you get into it, there will be something in there. Every other day with lecture and so on and so forth, there's a Zoom link. Here I have included again the North House reading, and I have included a reflective practices reading. I want you to do this reading. I'm going to mention that briefly. It's a recommended reading, but I want you to make it to read it. Yeah, I think it's very helpful as a leader to understand reflective practices. But I'm not going to ask you to write anything about it. Or it's just for your personal growth. Here is again the Zoom link for July 31st. There is a PowerPoint. That's a PowerPoint that I'm going to use for that day. It's already uploaded. I'm very happy with myself. This is a page for the assignment, the first assignment. And as promised, here's the rubric. So I want to open it and show it to you here really quick. I want to open it and show it to you here really quick. He's preparing to download. Okay. I'm going to stop sharing here in a second. Okay. So, as I said, every assignment will have its own rubric, and it's taking like a long time to download. So but if you click on it, it will show up. But I'm just gonna open it from my computer. And I cannot talk and type at the same time. It's one of those things. Okay. So this is the rubric for the first paper. It tells you what I'm expecting for you to do or the criteria. Then how much points you're going to get. If you meet the criteria or if you excel in that criteria, if you go above and beyond what I'm asking, you get from 45 to 50 points or percentage. And as you do less and less and less of the criteria that I'm asking you, then the points go down. And then the last column, it's a percentage. So integration of the required texts, that's 50% of the work. Integration of material, that's 30%. And then grammar and Chicago style, that's 20%. So if you decide to use your own style of writing and not spell check or any of it, you start at 80%. Okay. So that's again, every assignment will have its own rubric and it will say different things. So please pay attention to that. As you're writing the paper, it might be helpful to have the rubric next to you. And I'm telling all this to you, I'm sharing all this because, friends, I really want for you to succeed in this class. There is no reason for anyone to fail. Seriously, if you do the work and are sincerely wanting to learn um, sincerely curious about this stuff, there's no reason for you to fail. All right. Um, so the rest of the Moodle page is self-explanatory. It tells you all those sort of things. So we're not going to look at any of that right now. The last thing that I wanted to do, or I want to wrap up our session today, um, is by visiting about transformative leadership. And this will be the PowerPoint that I will have share with you with the books. But I want us to get into this definition of leadership. This is a Peter Norhaus. This is his definition of leadership, and it is based on studies on leadership. And he just, out of his knowledge on leadership and all the different theories around leadership, he put together this definition. So leadership is a process whereby an individual influences a group of individuals to achieve a common goal. Leadership is a process whereby an individual influences a group of individuals to achieve a common goal. And there are three things that I want to just point out about this definition. By the way, this is not the only definition, and you may have disagreements about this definition. I have disagreements about it, but they're not so drastic that I don't think this definition is good. No, I think this definition is great. I think leadership is a process. That is the first thing that is important for us to notice and to take note. It's not something that we do. It's not something that we are. It is a process. It takes time, right? Processes take time. Processes take intentionality. Processes are strategic. So leadership is, it takes time. It's intentional, and it's strategic. So there used to be this theory of leadership before the really before the 1950s, when leadership studies kind of like were born. There was this idea, this theory of leadership as the great man theory, and it was a great man because it was thought that leaders, or only men, could be leaders. Which, by the way, is not true, but that was a thought. And the thought that was that people were born leaders, and there were some folks that the way that they carry themselves, people just flocked to follow them. Of course, this was a time of emperors and kings and so on and so forth. And so the idea of a leader was of this great man almost appointed by God. But we have come to realize that leadership is so much more than that. The thought used to be that the great man was charismatic. But we know that charisma is not leadership. We know that gender is not leadership. It used to be, and Jim Collins in Good to Great has a great comment on this, that the Fortune 500, there was a study of leaders or CEOs of Fortune 500 companies, in which all of these CEOs were taller than the average person. So even height, there are all these physical things that were connected to leadership and um, personality and physical things. And we know that leadership is none of those things. Yes, charismatic people can be leaders. Yes, tall people can be leaders. But leadership is not about those things. Leadership is about intentionality, it's about strategy, and it's about time. It's a process. And he talks about an individual. I think most of the times individuals are leaders, but also I think groups can be leaders, but we can talk about that later. I don't want to confuse you right now. So there's an individual that influences a group of individuals to achieve a common goal. So the second thing that I want to point out about this is a process. It influences. It doesn't tell people what to do, but the leader understands what the common goal is and sets a strategy, sets a process, right? Sets a strategy, intentionally sets a strategy, develop over time in which this group can achieve that common goal. So the role of the leader is to influence the group. And then there is the concept of the common goal. So what do people want to do? And not just people, but the leader is part of that group. So what is it that we want to accomplish together? Now, in the local church, that's tricky because some churches, some ministries, forget about churches, ministries, they're like, I don't know what I want to do. Some say, we just want to be here until we die. And some of the answers of our congregations are not good enough for us. And in some cases, we feel compelled to influence them to change their goal or to be able to imagine a different goal. But sometimes we have to eat our pride and help them as best as we can to achieve their goal. Let me give you examples of both. I was leading a campus ministry, the first one, Washburn University in Topeka. And when I started, there were 4 students active in it. We paid 3 of them to be interns, right? So in that first year, there were a number of things that happened around the house. It was just a gift from God that, excuse me, the house was going to be renovated for an event in the city. It's a little bit complicated, but I guess as a leader, I influence the board and say, hey, this is such a great idea for us to be able to renovate this house, the campus ministry house, the building. So the first year, we were really focused on that, and raising money and all those things for the physical structure. But then we began to grow on the second year, and then my third year, and then my fourth year. On my fourth year, we had 40 students. It was great. Um, and for students that would come through the doors any given week, what the core group, it was more like 17, 20 students. And and I remember one of the students saying, I don't want us to grow anymore. This is a 20-year-old, 20-year-old. I don't want us to grow anymore. I like that I know you. A 20-year-old. So I immediately in a very nice way, um, I tried to change the narrative and influence him, right, to to think differently about the growth that we're having. So in that case, um, the situation that was at hand was not an appropriate common goal. It was not a common goal yet. It was this guy, but I was afraid that it would spread throughout the campus ministry. Um, so we talked about it, and the reason why um, uh, I didn't accept that as a goal for the campus ministry is because of the Great Commission. And Jesus asked us to go into the world and make disciples and to baptize them, which means to accept them in the community of faith. So it kind of like went against what my understanding of a community of faith, what it should be. Um, on the other hand, at the last church that I served, which was immediately before the campus ministry, um, the church was um, had a long history in the community and not a really good history, or I no, it was a very mixed history in the community, very mixed. Um, and the type of outreach that they wanted to do was to outreach the members that have stopped coming. Um, and there was like it was really interesting because it was a whole generation. So it was people of about the same age that stopped coming. And my thought, which is still the thought of church growth, is people who have left, we're not going to grow the church uh, by getting the people who have left to come back. We grow churches by um, inviting new people. Uh, the new people who were invited and started coming, they really didn't have a good experience. So I was observing that. The church was really, the leadership, they were really tired. Um, so in this case, it was really best for them um, to reach out to those who have left and to learn from that experience before they started inviting new people into the church. So the things that they learned, that they will learn from inviting those that they knew, they could apply by inviting those that they didn't know. And uh, so I agree with that common goal. that's what the church needed to do. Um, and I wish them well. Uh, I could not help them with that. So that's when there was a change of appointment. So um, we need to discern what this common goal is, and then um, negotiate. Is this something that is this what God is calling us to do? Just because there are opportunities in the community doesn't mean that God is calling us to reach or to take advantage of those community of those opportunities, right? So um, so anyway, we as leaders we need to be very discerning of where is God calling this congregation to go? What is the goal that the congregation has? And what are the processes that we can put into place in order to help them achieve those goals? Um, Now, if the goal is to be the most racist church in the county, that's a non-starter, right? Um, but I don't think there's any church that has that as a goal. I truly pray that there's no church that has that as a goal. But anyway, I digress. Um, so, um, what are the processes, the strategies, the intentional strategies, the time that we are willing to put into to help to influence a group of people to achieve their common goal? Um, what are the strategies that we're putting into place so the church can discern what is their goal? I think that's important. That's very important. Um, all right, and I want to finish with this. These are the different reflection types that are in that reading on reflecting practices, and I appreciate it because it helps me um, and it encourages me to be in constant self-reflection. So sometimes we reflect on an event that hasn't happened yet, right? But that reflection helps us prepare for it. So if there is a difficult or a tricky uh, church council meeting, we prepare ourselves, we think about it, and prepare ourselves in order um, to receive that experience. We reflect in the moment that something is happening and the feelings that we're having. We reflect when there is something that is very very technical, that, that there is a clear process for it, right? Um, like for example, a case of technical reflection is, oh my gosh, the sermon went too long. There's communion. How many verses are we going to sing of this hymn that has 5 verses, right? So sometimes we shorten that in order to finish within an hour. So that's kind of like a technical reflection. Reflection in and on action. We are involved in an experience. We something happens, we come out, we think about it, go back in with a different perspective or a clear path of action. Um, Deliberative reflection, personalistic reflection, critical reflection. Um, these are, again, all of these are in that reading that I included. And as we look at the definition of leadership, as that process of influencing a group of people to achieve a common goal, reflection is essential. how do we know what process to do? Through reflection. How do we influence them? We have to reflect. We have to prepare for that. We have to think about it. We have after we do something, we think more about it. How did it go, et cetera, et cetera. You know, so we have to constantly be thinking and reflecting, and that is the first and I think most important tool of a leader is to be able to engage in reflection on the things. So yeah, again, it's on that reading that I shared with you. And I think I'm going to stop here because I went way over an hour. Pretty sure. I don't have a clock here um, to let me know. But even though I'm not seeing you, I'm hoping to see you next week. Thank you again for signing up for this class. We're going to have fun. We're going to talk a lot about leadership, obviously, but also um, I I really hope and pray that that you gain a different perspective to be an effective leader where you are. So anyway, if there are any questions that you have or comments, whatever, please email me and let me know. Again, I'm gonna be at that wedding. I may not be able to respond until the weekend, but but please reach out to me. I'm here for you. So thank you so much. And I would like to finish with a prayer. So please let me pray over you. Lord, I give you thanks for all these amazing individuals that you have called to something that is still difficult for any of us to understand. But you have called us to be leaders of your people. So give us the wisdom and the courage and the strength for us to do according to your will. Bless us, bless this week, Lord, and be with us until we meet again. In Christ's name, amen. All right, my friends, good seeing you. And I'll talk to you soon. Blessings. Bye.